Very brief tutorial here on how to use MarketMonitor to look up days on market. So whenever you log into MLS's dashboard, MarketMonitor is this icon, this 10K looking icon here. And so this is the default screen it's going to bring you to. I use MarketMonitor for a lot of things for my clients. Makes you sound more knowledgeable about the market. However, again, this video is just a quick tutorial on only using it as a means of looking up days on market. So first, by looking at the bottom here, we got these tabs, and we're going to go to the days on market tab. And this is for the entire MLS system. So that is not incredibly helpful. We want to get as granular as we can. So if we have a specific neighborhood, we'll say Carolina Bay, for example, we just click up here where it said our entire MLS. You can sort by county, city, zip code, area, whatever you got, subdivision, subsection. The smaller you go, like all the way down to a subsection, this chart gets more peaky, jumping violently up and down because one house sells and takes 3 weeks, and then one house sells in 1 day in a small area. It jumps all over the place. So we have to find basically what's useful information to us. So again, we're going to use Carolina Bay as an example. If we had a house in Carolina Bay we were going to list, start typing it in, it'll pop up. Okay, and as we can see, it's kind of peaky here. It's saying that there's times when 28, 49, 50s. So that's even up there, big jumps around the upper 20s to 50s days on market down to 219.4. So again, obviously very, very peaky and jumping all over the place. You can do 2 things here. You can attempt to narrow it down and see if it levels out any if you look in certain price points. Right now it may default to all property classes, so check to see which of those it's defaulting to for you. But let's just go ahead and boil it down and get down to single family homes previously owned. All right. That brings some of them in check there. But nonetheless, it still jumps around a lot from 7 to 44. It's still all over the place. So to get a useful number out of this, what we need to do is average out the data. So right here where you see line, 3 years, and monthly, change monthly to either rolling 6 months or rolling 12 months. What that does is basically averages the numbers out, and so it smooths them out some. So now, okay, mid-20s is what we're seeing. Mid-20s, 30, 20. Okay, for something like this, I would tell a client that to expect at least 20 to 30 days on market. If we're getting ready to list you right now, expect at least 20 to 30 days on market as average, because that is that all those numbers averaged out. If we jump to a rolling 12 month, it should be even smoother than that. Okay, so now we're seeing 25, 20. So again, and be conservative with your client. You don't want to tell a client the house is going to sell in 14 days because then when it takes 3 weeks to sell, they're mad at you, which obviously selling a house in 3 weeks is still pretty cool. So, do go conservative as in overshoot the number when you're talking to a client. But sometimes you don't have something as convenient as a neighborhood. So again, we have MLS areas and other things in here. So we say you have James Island, which doesn't have as many formal neighborhoods. Now, as I'm typing in James Island, we have the city, what's called a subdivision, which I imagine is probably the same, or area. I'm going to go with the area. And again, we already have the rolling 12 months on. If you didn't have rolling 12 months on, it's going to show you this chart here. I'm going to reset all these back to their defaults. So both residential and land, all property types, and all construction types. And here again, super peaky information. 13 days, 39 days, 13 days, 48 days. So it's all over the waterfront. Again, you can see if you can narrow it down by price point, if that helps at all. Okay, that's just even more peaky and all over the place. So let's not use that. So click through these, see if any of those help what you're looking at. If you're listing a townhouse, let's see, do those tend to be worse than single family? They're still kind of all over the place. So again, the best thing to do when you have information all over the place like this is let it average it out for you. And then what are we seeing? 18 to 20 to 25. So, once again here, I would tell somebody to expect at least 20 days on market. Maybe as much as 30, but we should get you sold by 30 is generally what James Island is telling us. So again, just get a rough number out of this information here, and then we'll take that into the net sheet.